What is your name, age, and occupation?
Oh gosh, nice and easy. My name is Sam Pietras. I'm 28 years old and my occupation is a videographer and business owner.
Do you prefer to drink coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite book?
I am Pilgrim.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Last show you binge watched?
I'm watching Love on the Spectrum at the moment.
Oh yeah, good show.
Yeah.
Favorite travel destination?
Brazil.
One thing on your bucket list?
Mongolia.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Current favorite song?
Dancing in the Moonlight.
What's your go-to workout routine?
Short and sweet.
If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, maybe Mark Cuban.
Sam, do you have a hidden talent?
I can turn my hand around 360.
Go on.
No, I'm not.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Last thing you learnt?
Some sort of editing skill. I don't know.
Favorite app on your phone?
Strava.
Most used emoji?
Probably a smiley face.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
One word to describe yourself.
Oh. Driven.
Dream collaboration for your line of work?
In New Zealand.
Guilty pleasure snack?
Or biscuits.
And what's the best advice you have ever received?
Just do it.
Just do it, Nike.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
21 questions to kick us off. Sam, thanks for jumping on. This is a long time coming. Create Now, what's the origin story? So it's 5 years old. This is your media production company. Tell me how it came to be.
Sure. It's always hard to say how long it is because I don't know when you start. Do you start from when you first thought of it and when you first started hustling, or do you start from when you were full time? But I reckon let's go back to the start.
Yeah, let's go to the idea.
So yeah, I've been going for about 5 years. It's a video and photo production company. As you know, we've worked together quite a bit across various industries and clients. How do I start is interesting. I was at a time where I didn't really know what to do. I'd studied biochemistry. I had gone out of uni not really wanting to do science after just studying it for 3-4 years, which is pretty daunting. It's pretty scary. So I was working at a law firm, just doing admin work. And I saved up money about a year after uni and found, once I saved up money, I went traveling. And when I went traveling, I had recently got into the hobby of photography. So I went traveling, went overseas, took photos, and really, really enjoyed it. And somewhere towards the end of my trip, I met a guy from Australia. His name's Adam O'Sullivan, if you want to check him out on Instagram. And he kind of shared a similar hobby. We got talking. He showed me some guy who'd started a business in Australia, exactly what I wanted to do. Even at the time, I didn't know I wanted to do it, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's me. Got home, kept working in a law firm, did it as a side hustle for a while. Long story short, slowly became a full-time job, and then it's just grown a little bit every year since.
Was that your first thing that you tried to start up, or had you done other side hustles?
I've never started anything else, but I have always had ideas for random businesses. Me and my dad always talked about it. Nothing that we ever really started doing, but we would always share ideas.
I think it's pretty rare to start something and then have it actually turn into something that is valuable and works well. Geez, I've tried a few things that they didn't work out that well. What was some of the biggest challenges that you found starting up your own business?
I think rejection. You get rejected a lot. I think the first year or two, especially when I was still part-time trying to make it a business, you'd reach out to people not really knowing what you're doing. You'd send a portfolio through that is, garbage. And you'd send out, 100 emails and 99 of them would say no. And, one would say yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it starts to grow.
What do you do when you have no portfolio? How do you get work and leads?
Yeah, interesting. You just got to do what you got to do. For myself, it was, what was it? The first job I ever did, I've always been into sport. And I'm always aware of different events that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
I was also aware that events often do, short videos, short photos. So I reached out to a bunch. One said yes. I came along. I had to quote for it, which I'd never done before. I remember sitting at my dad's law firm quoting. And they're lawyers, they charge a whole lot.
Yeah.
I quoted $350 at the time for 3 people to go out for a whole day, shoot, and make like 4 edits. And to me, it was like a dream. I was like, yes, I made it. I got money coming in for doing what I want to do.
Right.
And yeah.
And how much would you charge today for the same work?
Oh, I mean, I think we've almost gone beyond events because, there's a limit to what you can charge.
Right.
Most events would be a few $1,000s. So, I mean, there was that. I then just thought, I need to build a show reel. That's what your portfolio is. A 1-2 minute long, video that shows all of the work you've done. But if you've done no work, how do you do it?
Yeah.
So the first one was a sporting event. The second one was Homegrown Festival. I reached out to them, got rejected, but I didn't really take no for an answer. I guess I said, hey, look, how about I control your Snapchat for the day? And, they said yes. I got in, snuck my camera in, went around, got all this awesome footage of, different performers at Homegrown and then added that to my reel.
Right.
And then there was a few other small events or gigs like that I've then compiled into a reel to get, a bit of a portfolio.
When you were trying to get all the content for that reel, was there ever any point where you were just like, oh, the grind is just too much? Like, why am I doing this?
Not really. I never thought about it. The only thing that gets you is the rejection. It's tough.
Right.
It's like, it does make you think, is this the right thing?
Yeah.
But, I think just getting little bits of progress throughout that rejection, tells you that something's working.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you just keep going.
What is the best advice that you have to other people wanting to start up any business?
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do is just put yourself out there and try and get past that rejection, because it's inevitable. You are going to get it. When you start a business, you're not an expert, and you never really are an expert, but you just got to learn to take getting no's and don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
And just keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Do you feel like that business advice is applicable just to life in general?
100%. I mean, I think just believing in yourself is kind of the main thing.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you find your confidence?
I don't know. I don't even know if I've still got it. I when I think back to like early meetings with potential clients, especially in that first year, I would hate it. I'd be so shy. I'd be we'd go out for a coffee and I'd be like slightly shaking, and that was always really embarrassing. I'd have to wait until the client or the potential client's not looking.
Yeah.
I mean, have a drink in case I spilt it.
Right.
Which is probably like anxiety at the time.
Yeah.
But it was mainly because I didn't feel confident in what I was doing.
Right. At what point did you kind of like start feeling that confidence? Fuck.
That's fine, eh?
Alright.
I think it'll be fine.
What the fuck's going on? What's been the most rewarding work that you've done and why?
The most rewarding work I've probably done is it's tough. I feel like a lot of the time, every job we do where it gets slightly bigger feels rewarding.
Right.
But like what I'm doing at the moment isn't exactly what I want to be doing long term.
Mm-hmm.
So finding true reward in the current work we're doing is difficult. Of course, you're like you're happy with work you do,
Right.
and you find it fun and enjoyable, but nothing comes to mind as one single piece of work that we've done that's on our portfolio that I'm like, I'm super proud of that. I don't know if you ever get to that.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a bit of an issue in the industry. Lots of people aren't, they don't put out their work because they're not proud of it.
Right.
There's some super talented guys who just never share their work.
Right.
Because they don't think it's good enough.
Right.
But I don't think that's why I don't feel, a great sense of reward. I think, what I want to get into is more documentaries. I think, making videos and pieces of content that, make a difference, whether it's for a charity or for, an organisation.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would get true reward out of that.
Nice. Have you made any documentaries?
No, I mean, it's a goal. We make lots of short form content, which in a way is a documentary, but we've never done a full long piece one. And that is the goal.
Right.
This year I'm planning to go to Papua New Guinea.
Oh, okay.
Which I was meant to do last year, but just got put off, just reasons from the organisation themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make a documentary about the state of Papua New Guinea itself and what this organisation is doing to help people in those communities.
Have you spoken with the organisation about your intention?
Yes, yeah. They're all on board. They're keen for just about anything, really.
Awesome.
Just to shed light on the situation there.
Yeah. When do you go?
Don't have a date yet, but it's most likely March, April.
Right. Yeah. And are you gonna bring the team?
No, solo. Yeah. Which will be fun.
Right. So how big's your team at the moment?
Team is a 2-person full-time crew, myself and Ben, who you know.
Yeah.
And then we work with various contractors like my brother Jacob,
mm-hmm.
And a couple others to make a team of 5 or so.
We've looked at what the most rewarding work that you've done is. What's like been the most challenging work you've done? Have you ever had one project that just really was a headache and you just...
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think there's been heaps of projects that have headaches. It's not normally from the project being too challenging technically. I don't think we're kind of at that level of work yet where that becomes an issue, with like visual effects and stuff like that. But It's more, I guess, managing client relationships.
Yeah.
There was one, actually no, I got one.
Okay,
there was one early on where this was in that first year where we're hustling and doing these events. I was working with a freelancer who was kind of similar to me, just starting out. And on the shoot, I won't say who they are, but we formatted a card, which means at the end of the shoot we erased all the footage from that camera.
Right.
And that was challenging because how do you tell a client that you've just spent the whole day shooting for him, getting paid?
Oh, you accidentally erased it.
Yeah, I mean you have no footage, and you've got nothing to show for it.
How did that go down?
Not the best. Luckily on that job in particular, we had a couple other cameras where we could kind of make it scrape by. But you never format your cards until it's backed up.
Right.
Good lesson.
If that happened to me, I'd probably cry I'd just be so stressed out.
Stressful.
But I guess you just pay them back and it's all good, right?
Yeah. I think we might have given them a big discount for that job. And it was all good.
Right. Sam, what's the best part of your day?
The best part of my day is probably going for a run. I love running. I love my job, but I think just getting out and running, I don't run with music. I just run with my mind, and I think it just, gives me a bit of peace in my day, as well as fitness, and you feel good. We live in a pretty nice spot as well, so, running along the Wellington waterfront is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. How long do you run for?
Depends how I'm feeling. I don't do anything crazy. Often I'll run, for 30 minutes or up to about an hour and a half max.
Oh, yeah, okay. But an important thing to note, though, which I feel you're extremely humble about, and it still baffles me to this day. It's crazy to me. So you're an Ironman, right?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yes, I've done a few half Ironmans.
Right.
One full Ironman that I really struggled, but I guess I'll still take the title.
What was the time on that?
So on the full Ironman, my goal was 12, which is, I'm not 12 hours.
12 hours.
So, I'm no pro athlete or anything. 12 hours is like a middle of a range time.
And just go through the distances of what an Ironman is.
Sure. An Ironman is a 3.8 kilometre swim, 180 kilometre bike, and a 42 kilometre run, all in one go. And it's brutal.
That's insane, man. The thing that blows me away about it is, I always see people training for marathons or half marathons, and it's like this really big thing for them to do a marathon. But the fact that you do a marathon after biking 180 Ks and swimming 3.8 Ks is just, it blows my mind.
Well, it blows my mind. Before I had done one, I didn't think it was possible. You're always like, how do these people do this?
Yeah.
I definitely underprepared. I had a tough day out there, but I did finish, and I think that's kind of testament to that anyone can do it.
Right. Why did you do it?
What? I did a half a couple of years back. I've done a few since, but I think once you've done a half, I remember when I first finished my half, I was chatting to some guy at the end who had done like 12 full Ironmans. He's like, so when are you doing an Ironman? And I was like, I'm never doing that. That was hard enough. For half, I was dead. But he's like, no, you will, just give it some time. And then, you know, it happened. A few years later, I started thinking about it. I was like, I need to do something. So I signed up, and I did it.
Where was the Ironman?
It was in Taupo, where the New Zealand one is every year, the main one, yeah.
Right.
It's a good event, really well-run event, yeah.
Would you ever... Surely you'd make a documentary about Ironman.
Thought about it, but there's so many out there already made.
Oh,
so,
really?
You know,
what about your own experience with it?
Could do.
That could be a goodie.
Could do, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I need to do a decent one before I do something like that. Yeah.
Would you ever do another one?
Definitely. I feel like there's unfinished business.
Really?
I ended up walking a good amount of the marathon. I'd love to do one where I don't walk at all. You know, I run the whole way, swim the whole way, bike the whole way.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, right on. And when you're saying you go running, no music and all that, and to do something like an Ironman, that's crazy. Yeah. Tell me, you got to have some kind of relationship with David Goggins.
I do like David Goggins. But no, I don't know. I just feel like you just zone out when you're running. I feel like my best ideas come when I'm running. Right. I think David Goggins is an interesting one. He's pretty intense. I don't think you need to be like that to do these sorts of things.
Right.
You just got to do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Was it the Nike ad that made that your favourite quote, or do you?
I don't know if it is my favourite quote. I think it's more I can't think of one at the top of my head. But I think that mindset is pretty good to have. Yeah. You know, I do it myself all the time. You spend a lot of time thinking about something, whether it's procrastinating on a daily chore or your work. You know, you write lists, but just do it. Just get it done.
Yeah. What's stopping you from making the docos?
Yeah, it's hard. I think, you know, once you've got a business, you have bills.
Yeah.
And you know, once you make a doco, unless you get it funded, you're most likely, you know, self-funding it, which means, you know, you got no money coming in, you got bills coming in, which is tough. So I think the way we're going to do it this year is our goal is to first, you know, if we go back to the business, is first to increase a bit of sales. Okay. Give us that flexibility to, you know, have that extra cash flow to then, you know, say, hey, look, we're not going to do work this month. We're going to focus on this documentary.
Are you still, like, how do you get new clients at the point that you're at? Is it all just word of mouth, or are you still reaching out and cold calling, I guess? Yeah,
I mean, good question. I think for the most part now, most of our work just comes in. I think, you know, from being around many years, people get to know you. Yeah. You make connections from reaching out in the past, and eventually the work normally comes through. Our goal this year is to scale, though. I've never really had that as a goal. I've been quite content.
How are you trying to scale?
Well, we're going to jump on the phones and start selling. No, not just that, but we are going to start being a bit more active and trying to grow.
Right.
Our first step is to hire an editor.
Okay.
And once we've done that, I think we're going to have a lot more time to go after more work, and hopefully it's going to grow from there.
What's that going to free you up to do? Will it free you up to do more work, or just enjoy the things you enjoy in life?
Both, I guess. I think once we hire an editor, like you said, it takes up a lot of time. I'd say, you know, 40% of our time is spent editing.
Right.
So once we've got that free time, we can either use it to make things like documentaries or go after work, or both.
Right.
And I think our goal is to do both. Yeah.
I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but I just don't know how you do it. You know, we've spoken about you being an Ironman and all the work that you're doing with your business. How do you balance, you know, such different kind of lifestyles?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I think I'm my most productive when I'm super busy.
Okay.
And that's, you know, I think even when I was training for my first Ironman, or the long one, actually, the most recent one, the full one, I was probably the most productive I've ever been, because you have to be.
Right.
You know, you're spending 10 to 15 hours a week training.
Yeah.
You've then got to work. You've then still got to, you know, socialise and hang out with your family. All your free time's gone. But, you know, that forced me to make a calendar where just about every hour is accounted for.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's how I get stuff done.
Right.
Is when I'm my most busy.
That's interesting. How do you keep that discipline, or even just find the discipline?
I think passion. I mean, I don't feel like I work. I mean, you know, I'm here on a Sunday. I was just doing work before you came in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Editing sometimes does, but like for the most part, I think if you're passionate about something, you know, you'll put in the work.
So I mean, you're talking a bit about passion here, and just going back to the origin story, you say you're feeling a little bit lost and whatnot, although you did enjoy photography. Was there a point where you kind of clicked and you're like, yep, like this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I want to do?
I don't know, to be honest. I think it was a slow process. I think, you know, when you're at a time where you've got, you know, nothing really going on, and you find something you like, it was quite easy to latch on to that. And I think as as it went on, I started to enjoy it more. I started to enjoy the business aspects of it as well as, you know, the photography and the video itself. And yeah, slowly it just became a true passion. I think for a long time I had always done photography as a hobby. It was what I would do in the weekend, go out, take photos. And now it's my job, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. What kind of photography is your favourite?
My favourite to take is landscape, I think, especially if I'm doing it for not work. It's just quite, you know, you get out, go for a walk in nature, see a sunset, see a sunrise. Granted, it's probably like the easiest type of photography in my opinion. But it's nice, there's no stress, it's fun. I like shooting film. You don't get I just about never shoot digital for for myself anymore. I think when you shoot film, the process is slowed down, and you're more in the moment, I guess. The cliche.
I love film. There's something about film that is just really special and magical. I feel like every time I look at a photo that was taken on film, it's just so much more authentic and genuine. Have you been to the bunkers up by the Brooklyn Turbine?
Yeah, I have. I think I think one of my first dates with my current partner was up there taking film photos.
Nice.
Actually,
because I just went up there yesterday for the first time, and the panoramic views were just incredible.
The planes coming in, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. So with your line of work, there's room to travel, and you have traveled a lot. Has your travels changed your perspective on life at all?
100%. I was talking to someone actually about this the other day. I went to India just before I started my business, and that's where I kind of met my mate, who kind of got me into it. But I think traveling, especially to countries that are way less fortunate, has opened my mind up to how fortunate we are just to be here. And yeah, I think that's probably like one of the most rewarding things I've gotten from traveling.
When you were in India, did you kind of travel more luxurious, or were you just...
No, not at all. I had no money. I sold a whole bunch of stuff to go. Sold a surfboard, sold an iPad. But once you get there, it's cheap. So, but even then, I mean, I was going hostels just about every night, if not every night, I think. $10 hostel a night is all it costs there.
Did you enjoy India?
Loved it.
Really?
I think it's honestly the thing that, I think, you know, it is cliche to say, but I think it changed me a lot. And that one, it opened my eyes, but two, it gave me a bit of a drive to be a bit more grateful in life as well.
I find that really interesting that you loved it, because I watched this video on YouTube a couple weeks ago, and I found it extremely jarring. There was this travel vlogger, and he was in, they call it the most holy city of India. I can't remember the name of the city, but the poverty and dirtiness was just I couldn't believe that that is happening right now, just in a different part of this same planet.
It's mental. And I say I love it. I think overall I loved it, but every day you're there, you love and hate it. Every other hour it changes. There's so many instances where you see terrible stuff like that it's pretty hard to enjoy your life, and you feel like, why am I here, you know? But there's times where you meet, you know, amazing people who are poor and who are super friendly and are, you know, in love with life, and they're having a good time. So the contrast there from poor to wealthy is pretty extreme, though. And that's also pretty tough to see.
What do you think it is about those people that you meet on your travels who live in poverty and have way less than anybody else you would meet here, but they have that love for life? Was there something that you saw throughout all your travels that you feel might be the reason why they're happier?
Not that I saw. I think it is true the saying that community is more important than anything. I think a lot of those countries, they have a strong community. They're very close to their family. They're very close to their church or their sports team. Mm-hmm. To me, I think that's what brings happiness. I don't think money does much.
Right. Do you think that is lacking in our country?
Yeah, I think we're all chasing money,
Mm-hmm.
homes, and holidays.
Right. Do you think that's just like the Western influence on the world?
I think so. I think it's TikTok. I think it's Instagram.
Right.
I think it's our phones.
Yeah.
I don't know the stats or anything like that, but I've seen many that say we're the most isolated we've ever been, even though we should be the most connected. And that's affecting people.
Yeah, I agree. Do you find yourself spending a lot of time on your phone?
Too much. Yeah. I go on YouTube way too much, more than I like.
Right.
It's a goal this year to reduce that.
Right.
I go through periods where I delete the apps, and when I do, I feel great, and I don't even want to go on them.
Yeah.
With my work, it's a bit hard because you feel like you should be on it.
Yeah.
Whether you're researching, videos or whatnot. But
I feel the same with doing marketing, because there's so many times, like at the moment is one of those times where I don't know what it is. I just keep going on my phone, and I'll literally just be scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. And as I'm doing it, I'll think to myself, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not here to check anything. I've got no one to talk to. I'm just wasting my time. And yeah, it's a pain. But then with the type of work that I do, you just feel that inclination to be on the apps and get to know it. But yeah, it's definitely tough. What do you reckon, if you were the president of the world, how would you combat that problem? Because it is an issue, man. Like, I get blown away when go to a cafe or something, and there'll be a 2-year-old toddler on the mum's iPad or something.
Yeah.
And just no social interaction.
Yeah. I don't know if there is a solution. I mean, China's banned all the apps themselves, haven't they?
Oh, have they?
They don't have TikTok, or if they do have a TikTok, it's a different type of version.
Right.
I've heard they get maths content.
Yeah, this is what I saw too.
So I don't know. I think it's probably more just not letting young youth or children go onto these apps early, kind of giving them a normal upbringing so that they hopefully value that. These days you see kids with phones when they're in year 4, whatever that is, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
And they'll be scrolling Instagram, TikTok. And I think once you've done that, you're trapped.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to have kids?
100%.
Do you sometimes worry about the world that they will grow up in?
No, I don't think so. I think the world's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of crap that goes on. But yeah, if you strip back and you just look at your community, like we were talking about before, there's a place to be happy in the world, and to live a good life.
Yeah. Where would you want to settle down? Would you want to settle down in New Zealand, or?
I think so. I do love New Zealand. I think wherever my community, my family is where I'll probably be.
Right.
I think a lot of people jump ship, go overseas, and then end up feeling quite isolated. Not everyone, but a lot of people do that, and then they often come back to their families or their community.
Yeah. On this note of community, I want to know. So you said that you don't really feel like there's a strong sense of community in our country. Whose responsibility do you think that is to create a sense of community? Is it me and your responsibility, or is it the wider them and the big corps and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's each individual's person to focus on that. Most people know how important it is, but they don't do it. They don't focus on it for whatever reason. And I think that's when it starts to hurt them.
I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
This is kind of like 2024 version of the podcast, and remember, it's called Can't Grow Up now. We've done a rebranding, and yeah, I guess since it's the first one, I don't really know how to wrap it up. You know what I learnt through the first 40 episodes of that, and especially the first ones, I felt like I was trying way too hard, you know, and just being super like, oh, hey guys, like, welcome back. And then when it's the end of the episode, like, to do this big kind of professional, like, oh, thank you for coming along and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think just the way we should wrap it up is just keep it nice and relaxed and simple, you know. So thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. If you want to plug your business at all,
sure. Give us a follow at createnow.co on Instagram, and we'll just leave it there. Thanks for having me on, Vlad.
Easy. Thanks, man.
Cheers, mate.